Oh, well, there he is. Came right at me. There you go, buddy. Oh, there he is. Oh, nice. All right, we got a fish on here. Usually the first few 30 seconds or so of a fight with a good sized steelhead is going to be dictated by the fish. All we're trying to do is keep it from coming unbuttoned. So right now I'm just trying to keep the line tight, keep a little pressure on it, and let it start to calm down a little bit. Right now he or she is pretty feisty still and pretty upset. And keep good steady pressure on it. Try and keep your rod tip angled downstream and pull the line along the fish's body, especially when that fish is upstream or across from you. And the angle will change a little bit as we're fighting this fish to help wear it out a little quicker when the time comes. But right now, that fish is facing upstream. We got the line pulling directly down and across its body. And that's putting a lot more pressure on it than if the rod tip was straight up or facing upstream. And that's going to help wear this fish out a lot quicker and help us hopefully get it to the net quicker and release it in better shape. Now the fish turned around. I changed directions a little bit. She's down there banging her head around. Woo, woo, woo. Coming back up here. Might get a splash. Looks like it ate that minnow pattern. And then they're always going to make a few more runs when you try and get them into the bank here, just like this one did. You know, don't try and stop them. Just let them go, do their thing. You can lose a lot of fish right there at the bank if you try and force them in. As long as you got a good hook set and that hook is placed in a good spot, you know, most of the time if you're patient with them, they will, sooner or later, you'll get them to the bank. We're still trying to keep that pressure downstream and along the side of that fish's body. Now he just turned downstream and is going the other way. So we're going to change that rod angle a little bit. He turned again, so we're going to bring it back. And again, changing the positioning of the angle of that way that line is pulling along his body is going to help wear him down much quicker than if we just had that rod tip straight up. Taking off downstream again on us. Changing around now, he moved again. We're going to change the rod angle. It's also very important when you have a steelhead on, especially when we get a lot of new anglers out on the water. Make sure your hand's not on the reel. Unless you're actually in the act of bringing line in, for the drag to operate correctly, you need this to be free, meaning not being held onto by your hand, because as soon as you hold on to this and that fish tries to take off, that drag won't work. And not oftentimes, what will happen every time is either the line will break or the hook will pull out. So unless you're actually reeling that fish in, just kind of keep your hand away from the reel a little bit. And these fish are pretty big. They're pretty feisty this time of year, so they take a little bit of time to bring in. This one's starting to wear down a little bit. Looks like it's a nice buck. Oop. Notice when it took off there, my hand wasn't anywhere near the reel. Oop. So he was able to take line freely as needed. We'll try and work this guy down a little bit into some of this calmer water, where it might be a little easier to land them. Oop. Still not real happy with us. The other thing you don't want to do is, which I just did a little bit, is don't bring that fly line all the way into the tip top of the rod. If you get about that close, then you can start backing this guy up a little bit. It's going to be, I'm going to give us one or two more little runs here. A very nice fish, very good fight. Beautiful late fall fish, early fall fish. See if I can get him on the bank here just a little bit without him getting too angry. Notice I'm not going to pull them all the way out of the water. Try and leave them in there a little bit. It's a good time for my fish mitt to come in to play. Get this guy on real quick. That's a nice fish. Thick. Try and keep him in the water here. Boy, he inhaled that little minnow pattern we have at the shop there. Keep him in the water. Get him unhooked. Nice. We can let him be on his way. I think it's important with these fish. He's a little tired out here, as you can see. It's important with these fish to really try and take good care of them when you're fortunate enough to land one. You know, try not to bring them up onto the rocks and let them slap their heads around and bang their heads around on the rocks. Try not to let them get into the mud too much where their gills and everything fill up with silt. If you want to get a quick picture, by all means do. They look great. Get it by around the wrist of the tail with your fish mitt. Hold it up under the belly. Got a nice picture. Try and get down a little bit like I am here in case you do accidentally drop it. It doesn't have as far to go when it hits the water. But these are nice, big, beautiful fish. Takes a lot of work and a lot of time and effort for them to get here. Meaning, you know, a lot of people go through a lot of things to get these fish here for us. And they're big, they're beautiful, and they're magnificent. So take good care of them. Make sure they're in good shape when you release them. And just, you know, keep in mind that we want that fish to swim away nice and healthy when it does.